This is my first video ever. I'm doing this video because I want to not only document my own story for myself, because someday I want to look back at this and it just be a memory that made me stronger and that I feel stronger, because right now I feel pretty defeated. I also am doing this video because I find myself, as I'm trying to research and get support, I have found some really great stories on here in regards to ectopic pregnancies and trying to start a family and the shot methotrexate, but I've not seen a lot, and so I guess this is just a video for maybe somebody out there will be hurting and searching, and this will pop up and it might help you. So that's my story. I've been married to my husband for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in July. Last year that it started to be something we talked about more and more, and then I'd say maybe in January is when we were like, okay, like we'll try. So I have a pretty stressful life and a lot going on. So it was never like hey, we need to at this date and this at this date at this time and this, like we were just like, well, we'll just see what happens. So anyways, January and February, nothing. March, long story short, I just felt weird and decided I'm going to take a test before I'm even late. And I got a very, very faint 2 lines, and I was like, oh my gosh, like freaking out and telling my husband, and he was so confused because the lines were so faint, and I was like, well, it's early, like I'm not even late yet, so that's why, and we're gonna have a baby and it's gonna be so great. I felt crampy. I felt pretty crampy, actually. I didn't feel very good, but I was like, I guess this is just what's gonna happen. So the day that my period should have started, it didn't start, and I was like, and then the next day it started. And I was pretty sad and confused, and I ended up finding out what a chemical pregnancy was. I didn't know what that was, and now I know. So that was confusing and sad, but I think it was sad because we were just having such a really, really rough month. My husband was trying for a promotion and didn't get it, and I commute back and forth because of where he is stationed as a cop. And I actually work at another company in another town, so I go back and forth. Anyways, so that was a bummer. I told a few friends, mostly just I was confused and I was sad, and I think I was so sad with what was going on in life. And I mean, honestly, if I hadn't taken that test, I wouldn't have really known. I'm not I'm regular, but I've had variations and like stuff has changed, and so I'm like, you know, if I hadn't tested, I probably wouldn't have known. Anyways, so we're like, okay, we'll just try next month. So April came, and we tried more, but still not a ton. I thought for sure we missed that window, as much as I knew from like an ovulation calendar, like I looked at sometimes, and I was like, we missed it, but I felt off, but I was so convinced that we had missed the window that I was like, I'm just stressed out, or just have a stressful life. But I felt really tired, and I felt really tired in a weird way. I just felt like I had no energy. I also, it probably is way too early, but I was really wanting spicy food, and I hate spicy food. I just don't like it, and all of a sudden I was like dying to eat spicy food, and I thought that was off, and I felt sick. One morning I woke up and I felt like hungover, and I purposely wasn't drinking just for the little hope, you know, and I was like, man, I feel like hungover, like just that like ugh feeling. I didn't like throw up or anything, but I felt off. Anyways, so the day that my period should have started, it didn't. I still was just convinced that it was going to, and it just hadn't yet, and I was just needing to just relax and know that I was just probably stressed out. And my husband was actually going out of town, so we're like, okay, when you get back on Friday, we'll test, and we'll see what happens. And so that whole week, I was here by myself and I was like, man, I think I'm pregnant. But we were kind of shy of it because of last month where I tested too early. So we're like, okay, not going to talk about it, not going to do anything, not going to, you know, when you come back on Friday, if I haven't started, we're going to test and we're going to go. So Thursday night, I was so excited, like it was like feeling so real, like, oh my gosh, I made it all week, he's coming home tomorrow and we're going to test, and we did it. And so I got ready for bed and I was in my pajamas and I go to wipe after using the restroom and I see what looks like the beginning of my period. It was brownish, had some red in it, had some blood in it, and I was really, really scared. I freaked out because I was like, I know I'm pregnant. So I actually like just threw on a coat and shoes. I was in my pajamas and I ran to the store. I bought like 4 tests and like I got home and I just started like drinking water. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, 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 no. Like, how could I be so off on my body? I knew this was here. And I took a test and I sort of like sat on the counter and, you know, finished up and stood up and I like turned my back to it and I was like accepting it. And then I turned around and I saw 2 lines and they were so much more brighter than what I had seen before. And now that like I think back to it, like if I was as far along as I should have been, they should have been really, really dark. I mean, they were there, you could see them, but they weren't like, whoa, that's dark. But I was just so excited and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I was like jumping up and down and I was so excited. I was like, I can't wait. My husband's gonna come home tomorrow. I'm gonna tell him the best news ever. Unfortunately, that didn't last. That didn't even last very long at all because I woke up in the morning and I felt gurgly, rumbly, a little crampy. I didn't feel horrible. Actually, I didn't feel as much crampy as I did the month prior. So I was like, man, like I'm just a nervous wreck. Like that's what's going on. Woke up, went to the bathroom. I was like, I'm going to take a test, you know, and it's going to be really bright and wonderful because it's the morning. And so I took the test and I set it on the counter and I was just like sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is real. This is real. This is real this time. And I look and 2 bright lines. I was like, yes, sweet. And then I looked down and it's all blood everywhere. And I couldn't believe it. I was so confused because it was like, how can I see a positive and see blood at the same minute? Like, what can this be? This isn't a chemical. So anyway, so I saw this positive test and I was freaking out. And of course my husband was gone and I was supposed to be going to work and I just couldn't do it. Well, I called them and they're like, you know what, we're going to get you in right away because this sounds scary and we need to make sure you and your baby are okay. So I went in and got blood tested and they're like, we'll see you this afternoon. We'll test, we'll see an ultrasound and we'll just talk and we'll see what's going on. You're still really early though, so we'll see. And so anyways, I got the call at like noon and they basically were like, okay, your numbers are very low. If where we're calculating you at, you're at like a 36 and that is really, really low. So, and you're bleeding and you're cramping and more than likely you are miscarrying and we're very sorry and we want to bring you in 2 days to retest. So you're gonna have to go to the emergency room over the weekend and test. And of course, all of this, like I'm trying to explain to my husband without freaking him out because he's gone. All of this was insane. So end up going on that Sunday and getting tested, get the results on Monday, went down to a 25. Well, it looks like you're having a miscarriage. Let's bring you in again on Friday and let's just make sure they're dropping normally. They should, but I stopped bleeding. I only bled like 2.5 days. I bled that weekend. So went in on that Friday. So the day I started bleeding was on May 1st. So this was that next week. And I was hoping on Friday I was just going to get a call and they're going to be like, hey, you're like a 2 and you know, let's just give it some time. I get the call and the lady was really confusing and she was confusing me, but she was like, I don't know, your charts are confusing me, but you're at 56. And I was like, what? Why would have jumped? It obviously didn't double in 48 hours, but it went back up. And I was so confused, and she's like, well, you know, like, let's bring you in for another blood test on Monday, and we'll see what it is. And she wasn't too concerned about it. She was like, well, let's just see what happens. Maybe you stabilized and then you go back down. Anyways, I got off the phone with her and I just was like, no, like, I have not even seen a doctor yet. I would like to just speak to a doctor for 5 minutes. So I called back and I was like, can I please just see somebody? Like, I've not even seen a doctor yet. This is going on. Like, can I please see somebody? And they're like, yep. And so on this Monday, today is Wednesday, I went in and I tested again in the morning and came in at my appointment. Came in and he was very, very nice, and he explained that my numbers had gone up to 77. So not a viable pregnancy, wasn't doubling, but there was the chance there was an ectopic. So basically he explained that if it was him and his wife and they were sitting there, that they would say take the methotrexate shot and just let this take its toll. And we will, you know, give yourself a cycle and then we can try again. And it was horrible. I don't know. I think what was horrible is I have accepted the miscarriage. I've accepted that God has a plan for us all and that this happens. And my doctor, you know, just said sometimes these just happen. My numbers were so very low, so it just was more than likely like it just got caught. I mean, it didn't try to develop. It didn't, you know, it's just stuck there trying to grow cells. Anyway, so cried there, got sent to the cancer center, which is the only place in town that can give you the methotrexate shot in my town. That was horrible to be in a cancer center, and had to talk to a nurse, and of course my husband knew this nurse from high school, so it was like this weird awkward uncomfortableness because like they know each other and I'm bawling, and anyways, had to sit there and had to get my blood drawn again. So this is the 11th that it happened. I got the shot in your butt, which is, I felt like an insult to injury because it was like, I can't just get a shot in my arm. But anyways, I was like, fine, whatever, give me the stupid shot. So, long story short, here I am. It's Wednesday, so it's 2 days into the methotrexate shot. I hate this. I don't feel horrible yet. And unfortunately, from what I see, it could get worse. I think what's hard is I can't even move forward. This 13 days of holding on to something and now just wanting my numbers to go back down and wanting to get my life back together. Other than some cramping, that it's been uncomfortable but not horrible yet, and lightheaded and a little nauseous. I've not seen many symptoms. I'm thankful that we are preventing me from rushing to the hospital with an ectopic. I don't know. I guess we'll see when I go in on Friday. So today's Wednesday, so I'll go in on Friday and get my blood tested again, and then I'll go on Monday to test again. I am fingers crossed praying I don't have to get another shot. I don't want to get another shot, mostly because I just don't want all of this stuff in my system that I don't understand. I also just want to be done, grieve, move forward, get back to being myself. I've been hiding out and hurting for a couple weeks now, so I would like to get back to me. So this is my life story. Maybe if things go better, I'll update and I'll actually look like a real human being. So thank you for anyone who's watching. I feel like if you're searching for these kind of videos, you're probably going through this. I don't know many people who just watch these to think they're funny and cute. I guess if you're watching this and it's because you're hurting and you're going through this, I'm there with you, and I hope that my journey helps you, or at least lets you know you're not alone. I will try to update maybe next week and see what happened. I'm praying this is it and I can move forward and someday have happier news. Thank you for watching, and God bless.